At the beginning of the film, we see a robbery at a convenience store with strange masks. The two robbers had trouble opening the cash register, so they had to buy something first. Finally, they managed to grab the money in the register. It turns out these robbers are a couple named Mickey and Jules. They were very happy because they successfully robbed, and they planned to use the money for a vacation in Florida. But in the middle of the forest road, their car, which was also stolen, ran out of fuel. Mickey was upset because they had to steal another car in the middle of the forest road, but soon Jules saw signs of a house. Sure enough, there was a car in a garage at a seemingly deserted house. They tried to enter the house. Inside, the atmosphere was quiet. Jules checked the situation while Mickey searched for the car keys. While searching, he unknowingly discarded a camera showing a torture scene. He then returned to Jules and noticed something strange as there were no spare keys for the car. They were confused, but with the help of drugs they had brought, they planned to siphon gas from the garage car and carry it with a bucket to their car. Mickey went to search for a hose in the basement, which was quite dark and eerie. Carefully, they searched for a hose, but there were only old items. They were startled by a girl in a chaotic state, with her feet shackled. Seeing the girl's condition, Jules felt sorry and insisted Mickey release her shackles. Mickey, who didn't want to get involved because it wasn't their business, reluctantly agreed, thinking they might earn some good karma. The girl remained silent, but while searching for a tool, they were surprised by a couple, George and Gloria, who were the owners of the house. Mickey told them they were robbers who wanted to steal the car in the garage and asked about the girl in the basement. George explained that it was their daughter, Sweetie, who was shackled for being naughty at school. Calmly, George invited them to talk more relaxed. During the conversation, Jules insisted on taking Sweetie away from there. George, hearing this, told them about his past as a salesman. With that job, he was good at talking and could identify and analyze things about his customers. He guessed that they were amateur robbers, because Mickey found no keys when entering the house. George continued to threaten to call the police if they took Sweetie away. Mickey said that he thought George and Gloria were very cruel parents, so they insisted on taking Sweetie away. Finally, Sweetie's shackles were released. Mickey invited her to leave immediately because Sweetie would surely be happy with them, but Sweetie remained silent. Mickey woke up tied up in a room. He could only hear Gloria telling him to be quiet and obedient, or he would regret it. Meanwhile, Jules, who was also tied up in the basement, was upset with Sweetie because she didn't want to be rescued. But Sweetie remained silent. Back to Mickey, who was invited to have fun by Gloria, whose behavior seemed very strange, because Mickey didn't want to, making Gloria angry. In the basement, Jules saw Sweetie's toy horse, reminding her of the past when she and her sibling had the same toy horse. However, because it was broken, Jules intended to ask her parents for help to fix it. But she couldn't find her parents, and after a week, they still hadn't returned home. Finally, Jules and her sibling lived alone. The next morning, Mickey, seeing a photo of her youth with George, Gloria told her story about how they dated and eventually got married, despite being opposed by Gloria's father. Gloria hoped for a harmonious family. Mickey, noticing Gloria's odd behavior, tried to seduce her into unlocking his handcuffs. When he almost got free and tried to escape, he was threatened by George, who was angry because Mickey had hurt his wife. Mickey apologized, and then he was taken to the basement with his leg shot. He was handcuffed with Jules, and George told Sweetie to watch over them. After George left, Mickey got angry at Sweetie for refusing to be rescued. Mickey regretted becoming a thief and thought about running a business because it was safer, freer, and more profitable. In the conversation, Mickey remembered that Jules had a tongue piercing. He could use it to unlock the handcuffs. Jules initially refused because it would hurt, but since it was the only way, Jules eventually agreed and resigned herself to it. They had some difficulty removing it, so Mickey had to help. And finally, they succeeded. Suddenly, George arrived, offering food, but because Mickey had hidden a tongue piercing and Jules was in pain, they refused the food. After George left, Mickey tried to unlock Jules's handcuffs first. Then it was Jules's turn to unlock Mickey's handcuffs, but because she had no skill, she broke the needle. Panicked, Jules was calmed down by Mickey, because even if he was free, his leg was injured, so the hope was on Jules. Suddenly, Sweetie gave a hint about a laundry chute. Jules tried that route and ended up in Ethan's room, the second child of George and Gloria, who turned out to be a doll. Meanwhile, she heard Gloria's approaching voice and hid in the closet. Meanwhile, Mickey was tortured by George because he wouldn't tell where Jules had gone. Finally, Mickey said that Jules was outside waiting for him because if Mickey managed to get out, they wouldn't call the police and wouldn't take Sweetie away. Back to Jules. Jules almost got caught by Gloria. Fortunately, Gloria was called by George to take Mickey out to meet Jules. But Jules, realizing she was about to be shot, threatened to drop the doll, which made Gloria very sad. Gloria suddenly took George's gun and shot Jules but missed, causing Jules to drop the doll. Gloria was very sad and George wanted to take revenge on them. Then Gloria started cooking and told Mickey and Jules, who were tied up, that it was her way of forgetting her sadness. Jules was still curious about why Sweetie was locked in the basement. George explained that he and Gloria were not blessed with children, so to make his wife happy, George kidnapped Sweetie. At that time, Gloria didn't like Sweetie and told George to get rid of her, but out of pity he ended up locking her in the basement. George revealed that he wouldn't kill them, and would instead release them because he was afraid the police would come. Then Gloria shared her childhood story about how her mother was dying of cancer. Before she died, her mother gave Gloria a doll named Ethan. However, the food that was served was mixed with drugs that George found in Mickey's bag because they still intended to kill them. A police officer then arrived and informed them that the stalled car outside belonged to the store robbers, and they were looking for the robbers. George lied, saying he didn't see anything. Hearing this, the police officer asked to leave, but because he saw the damaged door, he became suspicious and decided to check the house. Mickey and Jules had been hidden. The police officer became suspicious because there were 4 plates for a couple. Meanwhile, Mickey and Jules, who were beginning to regain consciousness, tried to take the antidote. The police officer then checked the basement because it looked suspicious, but he got information that the robbers had been caught, so he left. Jules managed to get the antidote and gave it to Mickey, who then woke up. Soon after, George and Gloria found out that their intended victims had escaped. When George and Gloria chased them outside, Mickey and Jules were hiding. They took the keys and freed Sweetie first, but Sweetie still remained silent. Meanwhile, Gloria scolded George because he had promised to be nice. George apologized with sweet words, and Gloria forgave him. Meanwhile, Mickey also managed to persuade Sweetie to escape with them and use the car in the garage. When George returned to the house, he realized the car keys were missing, and Sweetie had escaped. Suddenly, George was already outside, seeing the situation. Mickey ordered Jules and Sweetie to get ready, then he hit George with the car. Unfortunately, one of the shots hit Mickey's chest, and he soon died. George was still alive, but with a destroyed face. Finally, Sweetie shot George in the head, killing him, and Jules managed to survive. Sweetie finally spoke, saying she wanted to go with Jules. But the problem wasn't over because Gloria came. But she, being very strange, started talking to George, who was clearly dead. Then Sweetie and Jules left together. Shortly after, they hitched a ride in a car. Jules begged to be taken to Florida. In the end, Sweetie was seen laughing and happy with Jules during their vacation in Florida, and the film ends. If you like this video, don't forget to subscribe, because by subscribing you have supported me to make better videos. See you in the next video.